Hey everybody, I'm that one guy, and I wanted to create a series of videos to go over the Weakauras I've created. The whole purpose of the Weakauras is obviously to help you better understand your spec and hopefully help you play better as a result, but also to gamify the game. Because WoW does present you with some spell alerts for the specs you play, but not all. And so that leaves you looking for ways to identify if a certain buff or debuff is active. And that's where Weakauras can come in play. And I wanted to do more than just have an icon with a timer in it, right? I wanted to try to present you with visual effects that make it feel more like a video game and immerse you more into the spec you're playing. At least that's the idea. So in these videos, I'm going to go over the Weakauras I've created, how I intend for them to work, and show you how you can modify them if you'd like. So whether you've already found my Weakauras, or you're looking for some for a certain spec, or you just want to have a better idea of how Weakauras work in general, hopefully these videos will help you with that. Subtlety Rogues, or Sub-Rogues. This is the last spec that I had to make to have made Weakauras for all of the specs until they had a new one. But I've enjoyed making all of these. I liked I liked all the little shadow themes. I like the stuff that I came up with. Again, biased opinion. I always like the things I come up with. But always leave your feedback and let me know what I missed. But let's see what I did for the final rogue spec for all of these. This is, again, what everything would appear on your screen. Again, lots of purple, shadowy type theme stuff. Not all there all at once. And I'll explain it as I go through. The general rogue stuff, if you've seen any of the other rogues that I did, it's all the same things, right? You have your rogue energy bar with a tick mark at 40, just because, again, it does seem like there's a lot of abilities that you cannot use when it's under 40. Again, my 2 cents is always, energy-based specs are no fun. I don't think so. I think just let the combo points be the thing that drives the spec. Having to kind of do stuff with energy is a resource management stuff that's not always as fun. But you got your combo points. They will appear this kind of gray desaturated color. Unless you have 5 combo points, there's 1 green dot. One of the 5th combo point will turn green. The 6th combo point will turn red, just because I saw there's a lot of stuff in the guide that's like at 6 combo points do blank. So that'll let you know visually when you have 6 combo points, and then when it's at 7, they all turn red. So again, just another visual cue of how many combo points you have, and I'll try to show that in combat. Your supercharged combo points will look exactly like that, right? It'll overlay on top of the combo points. The same stuff that appears down here, I just want it to appear on my screen where I'm trying to look at everything and just kind of keep my eyes centered so I can see my character and make sure I'm not standing in swirlies. Cold Blood, and these blue skulls, can change them, modify them, make them bigger, do whatever you like if you don't think they're as visible, but I feel like something on a 1.5-minute cooldown, just kind of, again, everything's in the same general vicinity, and you know when to use that or what ability to use it with, so you'll probably be checking and seeing that, I think. But again, always open to feedback. Rupture, right? When you have the debuff active, when there is under, I think, 7 seconds, it starts to glow. If you want to change that, you'd go to the Conditions tab, and right here in the Conditions tab is where it sets when it will glow, right? So at 7 seconds or less is when you'll see those white pixels around it. So if you want it to be at 10, 6, whatever duration where it reminds you to refresh it, that's where you change it. We will skip the hero talents and come back. Shadowcraft. All right, this one I think looks cool. I created that out of multiple different images, so I think it just looks cool. Again, because it's Shadowcraft, and it's what it is when your symbols of death is active, and when you have enough of your shadow technique combo points to refill, your combo points, you can essentially use it twice in a row. It'll just automatically refill it, right? It'll let you just kind of cast twice in a row, and that's a talent that you have as sub. And so to show that that's active, again, just kind of another visual cue of hey, you have max combo points, and you have the other buff active, so you meet this criteria to be able to do Shadowcraft the talent. So that'll pop up when you have 7 or more of your little shadow techniques, the little refillable combo points, and then when symbols of death is active. So just another nice visual cue, visual reminder that hey, you're about to spend, but it'll just be refilled automatically right back up to the top. Shadow Blades has multiple parts to it, right? There's a bunch of different things with it. So the purple blades, is when it is off cooldown. So whenever Shadow Blades is usable, it will be those purple blades right there. whenever it is on cooldown, but there is 5 seconds or less, it will be this, which will eventually start to pop up on your screen. There you go. It won't be staggered like that. It's just because I clicked them at different times. But that'll start to fill up on your screen. As those fill up, that's letting you know that it is coming off cooldown, right? And there's 5 seconds or less, and it'll count down essentially from 5 to 1 by filling that up. And when it's full, it'll turn purple because the buff is active. Sorry, not the buff is active, but the ability is off cooldown. Where you change that is in the trigger settings. If you want it to show when there's 3 seconds or 7 seconds or whatever, you'd go in here to the trigger. You'd change it here, right? Remaining time set to whatever number you want that to be for counting down on the cooldown. And then you also want to go to the display tab, progress settings, and this minimum and maximum progress. So if you want it to show up when there's 10 seconds left on the cooldown, you change this maximum progress to 10, and you change this trigger of remaining time to 10. And that way it'll start counting down at 10 seconds, letting you know that Shadowblades is about to be up. Right, so almost off cooldown, and then after you use it, right, you have the buff active, which will dissipate, right? It'll go away, right, and tick down. Again, it's not going to be staggered like that. It'll go at the same time. It's just because I clicked them both at different times. But essentially, white is it coming up off cooldown? Purple means it's active, and then when it's a very deep purple or almost black, basically, the buff is active, and obviously expiring to when it is no longer active anymore. So that's Shadowblades, right? That's that one. Flagellation is these. When the the ability is off cooldown, you'll see those symbols right there. Just kind of simple that, hey, it's available to be used. Shadow techniques. It goes all the way up to 7 only. It does stack more than 7, but I try to have it match the number of combo points you have. If you need to know when there's more than 7, I can set it to basically like change the color, right? So the first 7 would be purple, and then as it goes over 7, each individual one would like change to a different color. Probably would have to do something like white or gray so that it's more visible. Any other color will probably just get lost in the purple. Secret technique also has a few different parts to it, but this image, this texture will pop up on your screen when secret technique is off cooldown, and that fill that you just saw is letting you know the seconds of secret technique, similar to Shadowblades, the seconds to it coming off cooldown. It can get a little clunky since secret technique has CDR built into it from using your combo points, so you could change that, but basically when it's coming up off cooldown, you'll see that image start to fill in the same way that Shadowblades does, and you can change when it does that. In here, same way in the trigger, you can do it to where it's 5 seconds or 7 seconds instead of just 3 if you want more time on that. I felt like 3 seconds, that's essentially 2 GCDs, so seeing that it's coming up and being able to mentally plan felt like enough time. Unless you want it to be more, since there can be CDR, you'd like to know when it's at 7 seconds, since you may refresh it all the way to being off cooldown at that point, depending on your combo point usage. But that's where you would change it. Same place as with the cooldown stuff for Shadowblades. Then Symbols of Death, your charges right here. Again, tried to make it look exactly like Symbols of Death, but that's just textures that I made. That's not like an icon that's just pre-made, or the little icon here. It's a little handmade little set of textures. So again, I think it looks cool. And then that is your Symbols of Death buff, letting you know that that's active. And it's up here because this is where your shadow techniques will be. This is where you would see Shadowcraft if you have that, and your combo points. And then the chargers are there because you could have them up here too, but then it felt really cluttered. But always open to feedback and improving things. And then Shadow Dance, you have your cooldown charges 1 and 2 right there. Again, handmade, made those myself, those little icons there to try to match what Shadow Dance looks like. If you want that to be purple instead of purple and black, or purple and white instead of light blue and red, you can do that. I just, again, matched what the icon looked like color scheme wise. But that again is a variety of textures overlaid on each other. And then when you have the buff active, it's that. And then it'll obviously dissipate down to no longer being active. If you'd like a little timer, even just like a little number timer somewhere, I can do that. I can add that easy enough, but I feel like this visual representation has been just fine, at least for me. Like I said, I've enjoyed the little bit of Shadow that I've been playing. Again, I like purple. And so that shadowy purple subtlety stuff has been pretty cool, I think. And then to the hero talents, Deathstalker. You have your Deathstalker's Mark, which your debuff that you consume. After you consume your third one, you get Darkest Night. Again, all nice purpley, shadowy stuff for subtlety. The ability that when you get up to 7 combo points, you consume that and do more pew pew. And then Clear the Witnesses. Something that it didn't seem like it fit anywhere rotationally, but it's there. So if you don't like it, you can delete it, right? You can right click and delete. You can set its load conditions in the load tab to never, and it'll never show up. And you can do that for any other Weakura in here. They aren't interconnected, so it's not like deleting one or setting its load conditions to never will break the entire pack. And if it does, you can just delete the entire pack and re-download it. No harm, no foul, right? So that's Deathstalker. And then Trickster is your escalating blade. This is something where if you wanted, we could, it'd be pretty easy to modify the colors to purple. You can see all the stuff that I had to make. But if you wanted that to be like a purple and black instead of like the silver and orange, again, that it is in the hero talents, you could. But these are your stacks or charges of escalating blade. And then when you have Coupe de Grace, it is this symbol right here in the middle of your screen, just so you don't miss it. If phased is not active on the target, there will be no black circle and the blades will be silver. Right? So no black circle, silver blades instead of gold means phased is not active on the target. As soon as phased is active on the target, the black circle reappears, the things turn gold. Just because there was a condition in the guide basically saying don't use that unless the target is also phased. So I am going to very quickly and clunkily go through the rotation so you can see kind of what it look like as you're playing and how the stuff kind of pops up and shows up. It's not going to be, guys, this isn't exactly how you play it, and if you have any other feedback on stuff, always put it in the comments below. But let's just see, right? Nothing shows up until you are in combat with a thing, and then you can kind of see there's Flagellation off cooldown. I have max combo points, shadow techniques. I got its Deathstalker's Marks, Shadow Blades, Symbols of Death, right? I can do supercharge combo points by doing my Symbols of Death, and there's the buff for it. And then look, because Symbols of Death is active, I have 7 or more shadow technique. There is, right, my my buff, right, that I've forgotten the name of. There we go, my Shadowcraft, right, that lets me know I can basically use my spender 2 times in a row at max. And because I don't have Symbols of Death active anymore, it goes away. But as you use Flagellation, it's gone. If you were to use Rupture, right, you get your debuff tracker right there. You could use your Shadow Dance, and you obviously lose a charge, and I have it keybound to Symbols of Death, so it used those again. If I use my Shadow Blades, it doesn't. This lets me know I activate it, right? And there's the buff I have. And then as I use Shadow Technique, right, stuff like that. So as you're playing along, there was my Shadowcraft, right? That one's so visually satisfying to me to let me know that I have that, right? It's just another nice visual cue that I'm about to be able to just push my spender 2 times in a row. But again, as you saw, that it may be better to have your Shadow Technique trigger off of a longer cooldown, a longer period, right, to show you when it's coming up off cooldown, because when it's 3 seconds, you can very easily just have that thing reset real close into 3 seconds rather than it just naturally progressing. The reason I stopped attacking was when it's green, right, like that's exactly 5. It's gonna jump more, but when a green dot means you have exactly 5 combo points, so just a visual cue to you. If there were exactly 6, there would be 1 red dot, and when you have the max amount of combo points, right, they're all red. And then again, I know I can activate Shadowcraft. Whee! It's fun. I like that. That's entertaining. The only thing, Flagellation's back up off cooldown, that I don't necessarily have tracked would be your Vanish charges. Right? That is something that would probably be beneficial. Let's see if I can get exactly... Nope, I have too many things now. I was trying to get exactly 5 so you could see what I was talking about, that I'm not entirely a crazy person. And there's Shadow Blades coming up off cooldown. Hooray! And more Shadow Technique stuff. It's fun stuff. I don't think... I definitely won't be able to get exactly 6 inside cooldowns. Oh well, maybe next time. But yeah, I've had fun making all these things. This is, like I said, the last one. I'll start working on things for season 3. I'll make another video about that. But I'm not going to show you all the other things for sub. If you feel like there's something I left out, and by not show you everything, I mean the hero talents, because you saw them, and you can see them in another video too. But if you feel like there's anything I left out that absolutely needs to be included in this pack, again, always feel free to leave me some feedback in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope you like it and have fun. Again, I hope you found that helpful. I do intend to make a Weakura pack for every spec. So if I haven't made one for the spec that you play or that you'd like to see, just comment that down below. Again, I do intend to make one for every spec, but if I see people asking for it or really wanting one, I'll probably get to it quicker than if I just do it on my slow, leisurely pace. I hope it will enhance your gameplay. Like I said, it's all about gamifying the game and making it more fun and more immersive for you, while also helping you improve as a player, because the information that you need to react to is hopefully more readily available. If you have any other questions about this Weakura pack that you just watched or any other ones, again, please feel free to comment. I try to be as interactive as possible in my YouTube section. And that's it. I hope you have a great day.